You know that feeling? The one where your mind just feels full? Like completely overloaded with endless notifications and constant demands? Well, today we're going to talk about a really powerful way to quiet all that noise. It's a technique that draws on some seriously old wisdom, but honestly, it's perfect for our crazy modern brains.
I mean, have you ever felt like your brain just has way too many tabs open? This is such a perfect way to describe it, right? It's not just about being busy, it's that feeling of complete mental gridlock, where every single thought is screaming for your attention, and you end up getting absolutely nothing done. So let's dig into why this happens and, the important part, what we can actually do about it.
All right, so what is really going on when our minds get that cluttered? Let's peel back the layers here and actually put a name to this feeling, because it's something almost all of us go through. We're talking about an overburdened mind.
And this is pretty much what it feels like, right? That constant overthinking. It's this mental spiral that doesn't go anywhere useful. Instead of finding solutions, you just end up in this state of paralysis. Your brain just gets stuck in a loop, and all of a sudden, every little thought feels like this huge weight, and making even the simplest decision feels, well, impossible.
But here's the thing. This isn't just some vague feeling, and it's definitely not some kind of personal failure. Nope, there's actual science behind this. This whole experience has a name and a real explanation. So let's dive into what's actually happening in our heads when we feel this overwhelmed.
Okay, so the term scientists use for this is cognitive friction. And that's a great name for it. Think of it like trying to run through quicksand. Your brain is trying so hard to move forward, right? It wants to solve the problem. But every single new thought, every little worry, every what if, it all just adds to the resistance. It's like the quicksand gets deeper and deeper, making it almost impossible to take even one single mental step.
And this really breaks it down perfectly. It shows the two paths our minds can go down. Over on the left, you've got that chaotic, totally energy-draining, double-minded state. You know the one, where you're being pulled in a million different directions. But on the right, that's the goal. That's that calm, focused, stable, single-minded state. So the real question is, how in the world do we get from the left side to the right side?
Well, here's the secret. The key to getting from that chaos to some real clarity isn't about thinking harder. It's about thinking smarter. And the answer is actually found in this really powerful psychological technique that lets us basically lighten our mental load.
It's called cognitive offloading. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like finally taking off a super heavy backpack that you didn't even realize you've been carrying around all day. The idea is so simple, but it's a total game changer. Instead of trying to juggle all that stuff in your head, you deliberately hand off that mental weight to one single structured source. You're literally giving your brain a break, a chance to just reset and regroup.
So, how do you actually do this? It's actually a pretty simple three-step process. Okay, first, recognize. You just have to notice that you're in that state of overload. Just be aware of it. Step 2, externalize. This is where you consciously pick one thing, and I mean just one thing, to focus on. And finally, step 3, refocus. You actively pour all of your mental energy into that one source, and you just let all those other mental tabs kind of fade away.
Okay, so now we get to technique, right? Offloading. So let's talk about a really, really effective tool for doing it. And it's one that people have been using to find focus and clarity for centuries.
And this is where something like scripture can become an incredibly powerful ally. It gives you that perfect external anchor. It's a structured, meaningful place to put your focus when your mind is just wandering all over the place. And, while we're really honing in on scripture today, it's worth saying that this whole principle of offloading, it can work with any structured text or practice that really forces you to focus and pulls you out of your own head.
I mean, listen to this. This ancient text just nails the core idea of cognitive offloading, bringing into captivity every thought. Now, that's not about crushing your thoughts or pretending they're not there. Not at all. It's about directing them. It's you making an active, conscious choice to take all that scattered, chaotic noise and point it toward a single, powerful source. It's about you taking back the controls.
So what makes this such a great tool for offloading? Well, for starters, it gives you immediate structure when everything inside your head feels like total chaos. Second, it really demands your attention. You can't just multitask and skim it while you're worrying about a dozen other things. Third, it completely reframes your perspective, pulling you out of that hamster wheel of your own thoughts. And finally, it brings in a single authoritative voice that just cuts right through all the other noise.
And the result of doing this, it's not just some quick temporary moment of peace.
When you actually practice this consistently, it creates a fundamental shift. You go from that constant state of mental chaos to one of deep, real, lasting clarity.
This is the goal, right here. This is about finishing that journey from the before picture to the after picture we saw earlier. By anchoring our minds to something solid, something real, we move from all that internal conflict to a place of focused purpose, a place of stability.
So, look, this isn't just some interesting theory to think about. It's a real, practical strategy for living in this noisy world of ours. The very next time you feel your mind starting to spin out of control, just remember this idea of cognitive offloading and ask yourself, what thought will you choose to focus on to find your center today?